Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. So today I want to talk about how to value a player on the football index. Obviously this is one of the trickiest things to do. However, I do believe if you are putting money into a platform like the football index, you need to have a bit of understanding behind why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and who you're putting your money into. So I found an article on index gain which actually broke it down into different sections, and I'm going to use that as the basis for this video. So let's get into it. There are two key factors which affect a player's price on the index. The first one is a rational value. Strictly speaking, a player's price should reflect the dividends that he is going to return over his entire career. Obviously, we know that it's impossible to predict what's going to happen in the future and also which path that player's career is going to take. So the only way that you can make a judgment on this is to look at the historical data. If you look at the example down below, Bruno Fernandes, firstly we've got his PB valuation. His games played this year is 19 and he's returned 16p in dividends. This is an average of 0.84p per game. Secondly is his media valuation. He's returned £1.60 over the last 12 months, which is an average of 13 pence per month. So once we've got these figures for his PB and his MB, we need to extrapolate this over the length of time we expect that player to continue playing for. If you look at Bruno Fernandes, he's currently 25 years old and he's just got a move to Manchester United. I've estimated that he's going to be playing for another 7 years, taking him up to the age of 32. His PB score, based on 40 games a season, which is an average, would return £2.38 over his lifetime. The MB, which is based on 7 times 12 months, would return £10.92. As you can see, the total dividend return would be £13.30. This dividend return is obviously higher than his current price on the market, which is £9.69 at the time of writing. Bruno Fernandes is one of very few players that has a rational value which is higher than his current price. You might be thinking, why would anyone put money into a player that they can't see a long-term return of dividends from? However, there is a number of factors which affect this, which is based on an irrational value. So first up, we have optimism bias. Obviously, with the nature of football, everyone supports their own teams and has their favourite players, so it's always going to be present on the market. However, you have to take into account that players don't always reach their true potentials and can have drop-offs, so it is risky to invest in younger players. If you take Mason Greenwood, for example, who is often regarded as the next big thing for Manchester United and expected to go on to great things. However, he is only 18 years old, and the chances are that he could have some ups and downs throughout his career. I've tried to use the graph to demonstrate two career paths which Greenwood could follow. Obviously, the green line, which would demonstrate the optimism bias we already have for him, would be that he goes on to score more goals, make more appearances, win trophies, get international call-ups, and everything along with that. However, you have to consider that the red line is also a possibility. He could get injured, the manager might not fancy him, or he might just not reach his potential, which would obviously see his price decrease over time. This isn't to say that it isn't worth holding younger players. Obviously, if a player does go on to reach his full potential, the price you pay a couple of years prior to him reaching that peak could be well under his rational value. Next up, we have loss aversion. This is basically when a trader continues to hold a player despite the fact that they have rationally fallen in value. Obviously, they hope that the player will one day return to their previous value and above. However, due to the rational fall, this is unlikely. On one hand, this is good for traders that are willing to cut their losses, as this often means they can do it at a low cost. On the other hand, this often means that players can be held at an irrational value on the market. Finally, we have what's known as discounting. This is where people overvalue the short term and undervalue the long term. Injuries are a great example of this. If we look at Leroy Sané, who got injured back in August 2019, he fell by almost 15% overnight. This is unrealistic, as we could not expect him to return 15% of dividends over the injury period. Also, on the other hand, people who come into the squad to take his position are often inflated to an unrealistic price on the market. So, on the whole, you can see that it is difficult to give a true value to a player. However, if you take into consideration all of the factors mentioned, hopefully in the long run you'll be able to find value in the market. That's the end of that video wrapped up. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and also drop down in the comments what you want to see going forward. Also, if you want to follow me over on Twitter, I put more daily content out on there. Thank you guys.